Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Muddy River Mornings, driven by Hess Auto. I'm Emma Dulkey.
I'm Bob Goff. Welcome. This is our first big show that we're doing. We're doing these every Friday, and really happy to have Emma alongside to do this. And we've got a lot of great stuff to talk about. First thing to talk about, of course, is what's on everybody's mind is the snow. More snow.
More snow. As if we didn't get enough over last weekend. We woke up to, I want to say, an inch or two already, and the roads, they're not so great.
They're not, but and we do have school cancellations, so please go to Muddy River News and check those out. We will be updating those periodically through the morning. As you're seeing this airing in the 8 o'clock hour, you'll probably know one way or the other, but still we want to keep everybody properly informed with all the weather going on that we're seeing with the snow. And yeah, it's kind of yucky, and we'll talk a little more about that later with meteorologist Brent Clare.
And if you want to avoid the roads, you can always fly.
Well, you can't really fly here in these conditions, but I think, yeah, one big story we have, of course, is the city's decision to try to look for a new provider. Those meetings were this week, the first preliminary meetings, and David Adam covered those. And we also talk a little bit more and go in depth on another story that David has today, talking with Mayor Trope and some of the other people involved. You recently flew on Southern, and while you said the experience was okay, you still, would a jet make you feel better than a turboprop?
I'm not sure any plane is gonna make me feel better, but going up to that little thing, it was a little nerve-wracking. I was like, is that the crop duster plane? It's going to take us to...
My grandpa flew a plane. It was an aerial applicator. He did not like the term crop duster, but he flew those for years. And and those were some planes that were always fun. But yeah, you wouldn't want to try to cram 3 or 4 people in one of those, that's for sure.
I'm all for getting to the destination faster, and I think that's what the jet service would provide us, rather than the plane with a propeller.
Yeah, the turboprops. I mean, I see nothing wrong with turboprops. Of course, I've grown up with planes my entire life. Very comfortable with them, no matter what the size. But people who aren't, I mean, I get that notification, that feeling of security that you might want with the jet per se. So, but those decisions are going to be made here, coming up here in the not too distant future. So
we'll have to see. I know they did a subcommittee to suggest. And who gets the final decision there then?
It'll be the Quincy City Council. Well, there'll be a recommendation what the city would prefer, and then the federal government, has, I think, the final say to get everything signed up and taken care of. So anyway, David will be chronicling that more coming up here in the next few weeks and days. So.
Next up, we have Blessing with a medical minute on how to start your weight loss journey.
Since 1985, Hess Auto Agency has been your trusted source for pre-owned vehicles in the tri-state area. Families have experienced the Hess difference for generations and know they'll get the best vehicle buying experience in our region. With an ever-changing inventory, you'll find the right car at the right price. So when you want the best, don't guess. Choose Hess. Hess Auto Agency, 1124 North 24th in Quincy.
My name is Meredith Humphrey, and I am a weight loss success story. I lost more than 100 pounds with the help of the Blessing Bariatric Institute and its medically managed weight loss program. You hear a lot of stories now about new drugs helping people lose weight. Medicine can help with weight loss. It helped me. But medicine is only part of the answer. Lasting success comes by working with medical professionals skilled and experienced in the science of weight loss, and who have a passion for supporting those of us on this life-changing journey. You find these people at the nationally accredited Blessing Bariatric Institute. The team includes doctors, nurse practitioners, dietitians, and counselors focused on your success. Whether you think you may need weight loss surgery or can reach your goal with medication, the Blessing Bariatric Institute team can help. They changed my life. They can change yours too.
Women are exceptional. In the workplace, in the home, in the community, we fill so many roles vital not only to our success, but also the success of those around us. We deserve health care that is as exceptional as we are. Blessing Health meets the varied needs of every woman, from OB/GYN care and breast health to pediatrics for those of us who have little ones in our life. Blessing Health, with you every step of the way.
Welcome back. Snow still falling in Quincy this morning, and welcome to Muddy River Mornings, our first big show that we're going to do every Friday. Would you like to know what onions have to do with the weather?
Onions having to do with the weather?
Yes.
I would like to know.
Do you like onions on your pizza?
Yes.
You do?
I love onions, actually.
Would you eat one raw?
I wouldn't eat it like an apple, but I'd put raw onions
Some
in a
people do
salad.
that.
I know. That's, yeah, to each his own. That's what I have to say.
But Brett Clare and Nathaniel Jones with How's the Weather Up There, and they're going to tell us what onions have to do with precipitation forecast.
So long-term forecast, we kind of talked about snow coming up, though, but you did an interesting test, and
Yes,
we've talked
I did.
about this, last year around before we headed into spring, but the onion test.
The onion test.
So if you can't explain, what is the onion test?
So the onion test is an old German tradition that goes back, I don't know how long. I researched this and kind of always dead-ended on it. But anyway, the tradition was on New Year's Eve, you would set out 6 onions or 6 onion rings on your west window ledge and you would start, and the way I did it was you cut it in half and you peel the ring, the cups off. You know? And the first cup is January, second is February onto May or June, and then July you start with the big cup again and go on.
Okay.
So you set them out there, and you can either add salt to them or not. It's optional. But the next morning or the next evening, you go and you see if there is water or moisture collecting in those onion cups. Now, again, the skeptic of me says, I've heard of this before. And a good friend of mine has done it for many years. And surprisingly not, you see it. And
is there a major difference, say,
there's
between
major
January,
difference.
February, March, April, May?
So January was significantly wet. February was very wet. Very, very wet. The salt really, you put a teaspoon of salt in, and you try to do the same amount because when that moisture collects, it turns into a clump. Well, all that salt was wet or was clumped.
Right.
So that shows a very wet month. So January was I rated it as a 4, February was a 5, 1 out of 5, and then March, April, May were 2s. Very dry.
Okay.
So that's going to be the interesting thing, to seeing out the second half of I guess you would call it our traditional spring months are very dry, but then June gets wet again. And we'll stop at that. Because, I have the entire forecast here, but again, I want to see what the first 6 months do first.
Well, if February is going to be wetter than January,
Yes.
and you're already saying, okay, we're going to have 3 rounds of snow in January so far at least, right?
At least,
So
I wouldn't say 5 or 6. And next month is going to be even worse, probably. So, welcome to the Midwest.
Welcome back to Muddy River Mornings. We have some shows dropping on Muddy River TV site. We have a business spotlight with Christy Hubner, the owner of Wine Gal Meets Whiskey Guy, right here in our neighborhood, downtown in the square. And she tells you a little bit about her business and some fun stuff that she has coming up, like a chili cook-off and The Price is Right featuring wine.
I talked with Christy yesterday at length, and it's the Price is Right thing sounds like a lot of fun. Basically, you go in and you try to determine, which wine is a little more expensive or whatever, and which is the bougiest and the cheapest or whatever. So I think that's going to be a lot of fun. We're also going to talk with Jason Parrott on Club Muddy. Ashley, Brittany, and I talked to the new director of planning. Now, his previous boss, Chuck Bevelheimer, who just retired, worked for the city for 30 years.
Those are big shoes to fill, I think.
You're not 30, are you?
Nope.
So Chuck Bevelheimer had that job before you were born. That's a long time.
That's strange to put in context.
But I'll tell you what, Chuck did a lot. Again, that's a no-win position for a lot of people because you got to tell people no, and that's a tough thing to do. Even though that was my New Year's resolution that we talked about earlier, so I'm going to tell people no more often. But I think Jason is going to step in, and he's hit the ground running. He's been working in the department for 5 years. We kind of talk about how the school of Bevelheimers kind of was his grad school, so I think that's kind of cool as well. One other thing that we're going to do is the community needs assessment with the folks from the United Way.
David Adam is talking to them, trying to get some more information. There's some good data there, and Aspen Gingenbacher is working on a story kind of summarizing all of that, and you'll be able to read that in depth and see what's going on in that study.
And also, speaking of Aspen, if you haven't had a chance yet to read the feature she wrote on longtime Quincy educator Tom Burnett, please do so.
That story is so clever.
Yeah.
She split it up into acts because he was the theater director at QHS for 30 years, and she did a good job with that. The photos are incredible, and he's a great person too. I got the pleasure of working with him a little bit when I was in high school, right before he was
he was winding down. But yeah, you and of course all of my kids were all A building kids, and Tom, that whole crew, the whole bunch. I don't want to leave anybody else's names out, but they did so much for youth in our community with just a fantastic program. And also, of course, Tom is Aspen's godfather or grandfather. So please read that story. It's very, very good. So
we're lucky to have the arts in Quincy. Not every school district puts a big focus on the arts, and QPS. I mean, we're lucky.
Hey, I was here when it's been since I had kids in the district where one year they basically whacked music. I mean, and it was people were doing it. It was very, from all the elementaries. You still had at the high school level, but it was pretty tough. So, one thing about it is high schools, you offer so much for kids. Not everybody, of course, is a great musician, but we do have some great high school athletes. And Matt Schuckman is going to let us know what's coming up on high school sports this weekend.
Happy Friday morning, Muddy Buddies. Muddy River Sports Editor Matt Schuckman here, prepping for another big weekend of action. It's been a fun week so far this week. We saw two ranked teams go head-to-head in a thriller out in Camp Point as the Quincy Notre Dame girls basketball team beat Central Southeastern 37-36 on Tuesday night. The Notre Dame girls are now number 2 in the state in Class 3A. Central Southeastern's number 5 in Class 2A. And I expect those teams to continue to win, continue to have success. So we'll be covering those teams, including having coverage of Quincy Notre Dame playing the number 1 ranked team in Class 2A, Bree Central, in the Bree Central shootout on Saturday. So look forward to that. We also have the number one ranked boys team in the state right here in our own backyard. Quincy High School ascended to the top spot in the Associated Press Class 4A state poll this week. It is the first time in 42 years the Blue Devils have been the number 1 ranked team in the state. And they will open their home slate of games for 2025 this weekend, taking on Rock Island Alleman on Friday night and Springfield High on Saturday night, both games at Blue Devil Gym. We have a myriad of other games going on. It's the first round of the Winchester Invitational taking place on Saturday. A bunch of our area teams area boys teams playing in that. So there's 8 games at Winchester on Saturday. We also have the finals of the Highland Tournament. So the boys and girls championship games. Steve Einiger will head over there for us and bring complete coverage of those title games. Palmyra will be involved there. So it's exciting to see. And then we'll see what else happens. A lot going on. We've got a special Shuck on a Truck coming up with a couple of national champions. We're actually going to do Zoom because of the weather outside and the fact that they're still in college and can't get home right now. So we're going to do a Zoom edition of Shuck on a Truck brought to you by Schottenkirk Toyota. So make sure you check that out this weekend. And then prep for Monday night for Muddy Night Hoops, powered by Farm and Home Supply. Look forward to another show starting at 8 o'clock live. You can find us on all of our social media platforms, as well as muddyriver.tv, where we'll be breaking down the prep basketball scene. Really had a fun show this past Monday. Really looking forward to next week to talk to some coaches and student athletes about the prep basketball scene. So make sure you check out Muddy Night Hoops, powered by Farm and Home Supply. That'll be Monday night at 8 o'clock. We'll go live from our downtown Quincy Refreshment Services Pepsi studio. As you can see, I'm in the home studio, and I hope to bring you an update every Friday morning as part of Muddy River Mornings. And we look forward to a fantastic weekend. Everybody have a great weekend, and make sure you check out muddyriversports.com every chance you get.
Andrew Wellman, our friend at Muddy River Engraving, stopped by yesterday to show us some of his new stuff. He's got some really cool stuff, and Emma spent a little time talking to him yesterday.
Good morning, everyone. I'm here with Andrew from Muddy River Engraving, and we are going to talk a little bit about what he does here. So if you'll tell me a little bit about Muddy River Engraving and how it got started and where you're at now.
Yeah, it kind of started by accident. I got into woodworking, was making cutting boards, and found out real fast the only way you're going to be able to sell a cutting board is if you can engrave it, personalize it. So I bought the engraver, nobody really wanted the cutting boards, but we also made up some dog tags, and those started selling more than the cutting boards did. So we just kind of kept on expanding, kept on rolling it out. I don't do woodworking anymore. It's just all strictly engraving. So, but yeah, it all happened by accident, but now doing it full time. So.
And I see some of the stuff we got here. You said that hats are your #1 bestseller.
Yep, hats are kind of what I've been known for. That's a brand new one I actually just came out with yesterday. So it's the QHS boys basketball team. But yeah, hats, I can't tell you how many hats I've been doing here recently. But then tumblers are my second best, and then the leather koozie that's right up front as well. This one's new for me. It's a golf ball style tumbler, so it has like the dimples on it for the golf ball. But one thing that's really been growing for me is glass. Been able to engrave a lot of glasses. So we have the 16-ounce Pilsner, decanters, do bourbon glasses as well, pint glasses. That's really been blowing up. And since it's been cold, added some, stocking caps as well. But I also wanted to show off a few new patches. There's one down there that actually glows in the dark. Unfortunately, I don't think we're going to be able to get that on camera tonight, but I did post it to Instagram on the story, so you can check that out. And then the other 3 down there are 3 new ones for me. It's a tri-layer. So they can go gold, white, and black, chrome, purple, and black, and chrome, yellow, and black. So you're not just limited to one color for a lot of things anymore.
And then who are you selling the hats to mainly? Is it kind of all of the above?
Yeah, so I do have some one-offs on the website. You can actually build your own on the website too. So if you have a logo or design, you can send that to me. You can also email or message me on Facebook as well, or text me, call me, however you want to do it. Sometimes that's easier to do, honestly. So yeah, you can order it that way, but primarily businesses, but I've been doing more and more one-offs for people as well.
Okay, I see the glass, and
Yes.
I can never think of what to get, my dad or my brother for
Right.
Christmas or birthday, so I think that's the perfect kind of thing. And what can you get on the glass? Is that the same? You can upload your
Yep.
own logo?
Yep, so you can upload your own logo, image, anything like that onto the glass. So black and white images work the best.
And you said people can go right to the website and do that,
Yep,
or
so-
just get a hold of you?
Yep, so either way, whatever you're more comfortable with. Some people want to be able to talk straight to me, have me come up with something for them, or if they already have a design made up, they can just go ahead, upload it to the website, and I'll be able to knock it out from there.
Awesome. Is there anything else you want to share with us?
Only if you have any other questions for me.
I don't think so. We got all the good stuff here with Muddy River Engraving. Go to the website or call or text, email, and he'll
Facebook,
get right to you.
Instagram, yeah, any of them.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yep, thank you.
Matt and Shane and the whole crew, they do such a great job of covering things for us. And there's a lot of sports on the docket this weekend. Steve Inger will be eating his way through the Highland Tournament hospitality room. Aspen is also going to be working for us as well. So, but the weather is, she's not going to be doing sports. We'll tell you what she's doing here in a little bit. But, the sports situation, again, all depends on the weather. And we just need to keep an eye on Muddy River News for what the weather is going to be this weekend. But we know one event that won't be canceled by the weather. What's that?
That is the Miss Quincy competition, and I'll be competing along with some other women in the community, and that is Saturday night at 6 p.m. at the Oakley Lindsay Center, Quincy Community Theater.
We can't show any bias here, even though Emma and her 6 friends are all on the front page of the website today. But, okay, so I mentioned that Steve is going to be at the Highland Tournament.
Mm-hmm.
Steve normally covers the pageant. He loves to cover the pageant. He covers the Adams County Fair Queen pageant. But the food at the Highland Tournament hospitality room trumped Miss Quincy in his eyes. Wow. What do you think about that, Miss Quincy candidate?
Maybe I'll have to cover it. I'll already be there. So.
No, Aspen will take care of it. She'll take great photos. Lindsay Hess runs a great pageant there. And best of luck to you.
Thank
and
you.
the other 6 candidates. Again, no favoritism here on our end. But anyway, best of luck. And just real quick, what made you decide to do that?
That's a good question. Well, I grew up in Quincy. I moved back to Quincy, and I have a lot of love for the Quincy community, and I thought this would be something to do to meet people, as well as if I win Miss Quincy, I'll get to represent where I've lived for so long in the community that I've been a part of. And my platform, Read, Lead, Succeed, is all about literacy in the community, focusing on children, but adults as well. I know that 1 in 4 adults in Illinois aren't functionally literate, or maybe it's 1 in 5. 1 in 5 and then 1 in 4 in Cook County. And there was a great study with some alarming statistics about the 3rd graders in the Quincy Public Schools and their proficiency in reading. So I hope I get the opportunity to provide some people with some materials, work with the Quincy Public Library, and it's the long answer.
Do we have to build you a throne if you win?
Yes, and everyone must bow.
So if she wins next week, she's going to be here with her tiara and her throne, and I'll have to do all this. So anyway, best of luck. Have fun.
Thank you.
And again, thanks for watching our first installment of Muddy River Mornings. We'll be here this extended version every Friday. We want to thank our friends at Hess Auto Agency for sponsoring the program, and of course our Medical Minute segment, and our friend Andrew Wellman. So I want to thank you guys very much for watching. Stay safe this weekend.
Yes,
with all the
with
snow
the
and
snow.
everything.
I hope the roads get better.
Yeah, I do too. So anyway, pay attention to Muddy River News. We'll keep you all informed.